Wendy, how about the trees? I know you texted me about them, but where we stand on those?
Well, it's amazing how they seem to lose things at Dominion Energy. But anyways, they did say that they gave me the work order number, and they said that it was supposed to have been done the 19th. However, because of the ice storm, they were on calls in other areas of the state. So now it's kind of been pushed back. So I called today to the gentleman that was in charge of that department, and I had to leave him a message.
Okay.
I've not heard back from him yet.
Waiting to hear back from him. And you haven't heard anything about the sidewalk or playground grant money, right?
No, I have not.
Okay. And you said last month that it could be a while on that.
Right.
This just rolls over from month to month for me to ask you about it. So.
Right, yeah, like last year, I mean, we never heard for sure anything about it until, you know, it was like well after March, so.
And we talked about last month that the flagpole was up and in place and ready to be dedicated, and have kind of left that up to Richard because that's kind of his thing and his area, and he has come up with the proposal to dedicate the flagpole in the very beginning phase of the Memorial Park on Pearl Harbor Day, which is December the 7th. It's going to be a busy 2 days in Iron Gate. And the VFW post in Clifton Forge does a Pearl Harbor Day program and presentation, and they would like to come down here and do their program and presentation as part of the dedication of the flagpole. So he's putting the finishing touches on that. He's going to get some information to Wendy. She's going to get it to you and to y'all, so we get it in the paper. We would appreciate it if you're able to get any press coverage on that for that day. This has been a long time coming. It's been talked about for, I guess, more than 10 years, hasn't it, Jennifer, to get something started up there?
Wow.
And so this will be the first step in bringing to fruition a dream that's been had in the town for a number of years. So I'm happy to see that we're beginning to do that. Okay.
What time is it gonna be?
Probably noon, but he's got to let me know for sure. Okay. The manhole risers for the Tannery Row are here. They arrived today. VDOT, as soon as they get a warm enough day, will come down and install those. Hopefully the temperatures are going to be nice enough first of next week to get that done. So we're moving in the right direction on that also. That's been on the books for probably a year now. But they're here now, and they're ready to be installed. And all I need to do is coordinate with Mark Breckenridge as to when they can get that done. So get it over with. The last thing I want to talk about tonight, and this, I just heard this about 10 minutes before we started this meeting, and it kind of caught me off guard a little bit, and I'm mainly not trying to stir up any worry, but I want to put it out there so you at least kind of know what we're going to be facing in the next little bit. And I was actually watching the Alleghany Journal's video of Clifton Forge's town council meeting, which was held on Tuesday. And there was quite a lengthy discussion concerning the repair project for the dam at the town reservoir up in Sulphur Spring Hollow. And they've been talking about this for 2 years maybe or longer. The dam has been deemed unsafe or in a questionable state of safety by the federal inspectors. So the town is in a position where they have to do something, I believe. But the part that concerned me is they're taking on over $2 million in debt to do this at a low interest loan of 3.175%.
3125
3125% interest over 40-year note. And Councilperson Irvin had a laundry list of questions and concerns about how that debt was going to be repaid. And he had some figures that I didn't really pay much of attention to, but it was astronomical figures, to say the least. You know, he's talking about $10,000 a month in payment and those type numbers being thrown around. And finally, it came down to it. And the town manager in Clifton Forge spoke up and said, well, Mr. Irvin, what you're not considering is that 47% of this debt is going to be the responsibility of Alleghany County. 47% of that debt being the responsibility of Alleghany County means that Iron Gate is subject to a part of that 47% of that $2 million in debt. And she went on to say, when pressed a little bit further, that they would be recovering 47% of that debt service through the rates that they were going to be charging to Alleghany County. Now, am I misquoting anything? So that threw red flags up for me that we're going to need to get in touch with these folks. Finance Committee's going to have to get on top of this before we go into budget time next year, and we need some representation through the county, with us present, I believe, to protect our citizens from an abnormally huge increase to pay this debt. You know, any way you look at it, 47% of the debt is half of the debt. So Alleghany County is going to be responsible for half of that debt, and we buy our water from Alleghany County, so it's going to affect us. And I'm welcome for any comments. ER, do you know anything about any of this, or?
Not really, no.
Okay. So that's where we are, and that's what we're going to be facing. And we're going to start the process tomorrow of reaching out to the town manager and the finance director of the town of Clifton Forge and the same folks at Alleghany County to try to get a handle just exactly on where we stand as a water customer of Alleghany County and these proposed increase in rates. Clifton Forge has a proposal in the paper for the next 5 or 6 years. They're going up this year to $109.
No, we're already at.
You're already at 109. And then the next year is going to be 110. And then the next 2 years are 111. And then in the, 2024, they're talking about bringing it possibly back down to 107. But then the question was asked by Councilman Umstead, are we locking in these rates for our citizens? And the answer was, no, we're not. These are proposals on what we have predicted or estimated that we're going to need for the debt relief to satisfy our requirements to the USDA Rural Development loan.
Those rates could be adjusted accordingly.
And the next question he asked was, so we could put these rates out as projected, but we actually could be looking at $1 or $2 or $3 more a month? And the answer was yes. And they were assured that any vote that they took on this proposal on Tuesday night would not lock the hands of any future council in how they prepared their budget for their upcoming fiscal years. So anyway, maybe I haven't gotten enough information, but the way I interpret everything that I have heard or read about it, it's going to affect us. It's going to affect everybody in Alleghany County on the eastern end that buys their water from Clifton Forge. And we've already been in 2 situations where because we didn't have representation where we needed it to be and aggressively enough that we've kind of gotten left behind or had to take, if you will, the short end of the stick. And one of them is with the sewer plant and the money that we've had to pay there. So we're going to endeavor not to let that happen this time. We have a great rapport with both Clifton Forge and Alleghany County, but we're not going to sit back and just say, just tell us what we owe you. You know, they're going to have to justify to us why it's up to us to pay for their debt. Anybody disagree with that? Any comments, questions? Anything about any of that? So that's where we are, just kind of a heads up. That's going to be the next point of concern for us, because you know, we're at $92 right now per month, and that's water, sewer, and garbage pickup. And to be honest with you, that's about all our citizens can handle. Some of them can't comfortably handle that, and we know that. And you know, we made a commitment that if we could get started on the sewer project and eventually could get our I&I reduced and reduce our sewer treatment costs, we would pass that back on to the consumers and reduce our utility bills. And that's our goal. But we don't have much control over what other people charge us for those utilities unless we start at the beginning and negotiate with them. So we're going to be talking, and we'll keep you posted on a regular basis as to what's going on with that. Any questions about that? Anybody? Okay. And let me see. And Pam, I meant to tell you when we started the meeting, congratulations on your election.
Thank you.
You will do a good job for the citizens, and we'll see how things go for you there.
We will see.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.